Hey everybody, Alex Kazor, SteelersDepot.com, back for another Pittsburgh Steelers tape breakdown and analysis. And you guys know me, or if you don't know me, yeah, you will after this video, that I'm a big special teams nerd. I love football's third phase. It's the most underappreciated and underrespected part of football, and it only usually gets attention when things go terribly wrong. And so I want to give a shout out to one player in particular today who's really impressed me on special teams, especially Sunday against the Bengals, but throughout the season. And that's outside linebacker Ola Adeniyi. And Adeniyi, unfortunately, has really lost a lot of time on defense this year to Alex Highsmith, and deservedly so for Highsmith, who's played well in this third round rookie and potentially, probably more likely than not, to be the replacement for Bud Dupree for 2021. So it's reasonable for Highsmith to be playing over Ola right now. But for a guy like that, for Ola, instead of pouting or upset about maybe a reduced role and things not necessarily going as planned, he's really embraced that special teams role and is doing a great job and focus on the details and little things and being a really good teammate overall. So a couple examples of that we'll show you guys today. First one comes here in week 8 against Baltimore. Here's Ola, kind of hidden by the upright here, but working as the left guard on the punt coverage team, and ends up being a decent return for Baltimore here. But Ola does a great job to avoid this return from being a really good return here from, I believe that's James Prochet, the rookie, and with a big stick from Ola. And so he's going to just secure his block to start, going to maintain his lane and gap integrity running down this punt. Fortunately, Prochet gets through the first wave of guys, and if Ola can't make the tackle here, this one's got a chance to go a pretty long way. But Ola with a big stick there, big hit. And while the punt overall wasn't the most successful, I think the net on this one was around 40 yards or so. Usually you want your net to be at least 42. At least that's my goal that I set. Adani does a great job here, just finishing this play, making the big stat stick and the big finish on special teams. So good stick and good tackle here from Ola. All right, now we get into Sunday's game against the Bengals, where I thought Adani really excelled on special teams. And this is after the first three and out for Pittsburgh on their opening drive. They punt, and Ola's able to force the fumble here, get the Steelers the football back, and results in a field goal. And you kind of saw it on this play, and we'll look at it from the end zone view as well. But Ola, first man down to attack the returner, Alex Erickson, who's a really good returner, been doing it for the Bengals for a long time. He's going to miss a tackle here initially, but he's going to get right back up into the play and then finish it, pop that football out. I think Benny Snell recovers it, and the Steelers get their offense back out on the field. So obviously, you don't want to miss a tackle in the first place. Kind of a tough angle for Ola in the first place here, trying to make this one diving on Erickson. But he's able to get back into the play, finishes it, doesn't stay on the ground, doesn't kind of assume that someone else is going to make the tackle. See the miss right there. But he's going to get back up and chase after the football and then do a great job. And obviously, you can't see it too well on the all 22 tape, but that's him punching that football out, and it's recovered by Benny Snell. So look at it again here. Ola running downfield. First man down. He's not the greatest athlete in the world, but does a good job here to stay in his lane. And then just love the effort. It's just the little things like that. Some guys, they would stay on the ground, they miss a tackle. Someone else will clean it up. That's fine, but not the approach that Adani takes here. He's going to get back into the play and then finish it with a good technical punch out of the football, recovered by Pittsburgh, turns into 3 points. Big moment of the game right here. Bengals special teams were definitely sloppy in this game, the way the Steelers were against Dallas the week prior. And this is kind of a unusual circumstance in play here. This is not a safety, but you're not sure what's happening here at the kick returner. Brandon Wilson's obviously struggling to field this one, and so a good coverage unit's not going to assume anything that it's a touchback, whatever, because obviously the rules have evolved where usually the ball just rolls into the end zone. It's automatically a touchback, but because it hit Wilson, the ball's in play. But just overall, the point is finishing the play, hustling, not assuming anything. You see a Dane here, and this is just good special teams, defense overall, you could say. But just like to finish, Marcus Allen gets in there. Ola really hits him pretty good at the end and sticks him. And some guys think it's a safety, and it's not because of the way the rules are. But just like that intensity, we're hustling. We're not going to assume anything that's a touchback or whatever the case is. We're going to chase the football, and we're going to go ahead and make a play and see what happens in the aftermath. So good overall unit defense and coverage. It probably be a better word to use, coverage than defense. But just like the approach and mentality from all these guys, including Adani. This is a great rep by Justin Lane, bottom of the screen, who's going to have a great timing and stick on the returner Erickson here. And obviously the focus, and rightfully so, is on Justin Lane for winning off the line here and making the play. But what I like about special teams is that just the energy is infectious. I think to be a good teammate and to have a good special teams unit, you gotta, and just overall as a team building thing, you gotta be excited for your teammates to make plays. So I know people are gonna yell at me in the comments and say, Alex, you're being super like nitpicky and these are such minute details that, like, who cares? And I get that I'm nerding out here a little bit, but just watch Ola. He's going to watch Justin Lane go ahead and clean up Erickson, a big stick, big win for the coverage units, no net allowed at all. But he's just going to be hyped about this play. He's going to throw his hands in the air, first man down there to meet Justin Lane, and the defense is just going crazy. And you just see this overall, and I just love this energy. Special teams and just football in general is obviously a team sport. It's a unit thing. It's not just one guy doing his job. All the pieces have to fit. It's different than baseball or basketball. Or basketball, you have one star. In baseball, it's mono y mono, pitcher batter, and in a lot of the cases, you got to be happy about your teammates making a play. So Ola watching Lane go ahead and make the big play. We're gonna get excited and just watch the whole defense. You got Kennedy and Barry who are doing. They're not exactly athletes, but they're having fun out there. Joe Hayden's coming off the sideline, defense coming on the field here, and he's excited. I think that's Mike Hilton down there. So I just love this overall infectious energy. You see guys getting excited not only when they make the play, of course, but when their teammates make the play. So small thing, I know the focus is on Lane and what he did here, and this was terrific. But I just like, Ola's approach of being a selfless teammate. You're kind of losing your job as a number three outside linebacker. That's not a great position to be in. Obviously, that's kind of a sucky feeling, I'm sure, to not be playing as much on defense as you would like. But other guys making the play, and you're as happy for that as you would be when you're making the play. So, really cool moment here. This is the last play from the Bengals game on Sunday, and because the Steelers were blowing Cincinnati out, it's 36-10. They're putting some of the backups in, like James Pierre getting his first defensive snaps, Jordan Dangerfield, and Ola Adeniyi, who played about 5 to 10 total snaps defensively in this one. So Bengals running out the clock. The game's over. Everyone knows it, but I just like the little detail things from Adeniyi here. You're still following your coaching points and your technique. He's out here on the edge against the right tackle. I believe that's Quentin Spain. Back tries to bounce. Nice block shed by Henry Mondo, by the way. But Adani, the focus on the technique and the little things trying to rip this football out. And I know it's small and it's 18 seconds left since the last play, and none of this really matters in the scope of the game. But I do think it gets noticed by coaches and maybe, but hopefully by other people as well. And I certainly noticed it as well, where he's going to be focused on. Regardless of the situation, we're going to focus on our technique and what we're coached to do. If there's a gang tackle and the back's being held up, then you can go after the football. If you're one on one, you're focused on getting the guy on the ground. That's an obvious coaching point. But if the back stood up and he's obviously not going anywhere, and you got a pile emerging here, let's go ahead and try to rip this football out. And he tries it here, it doesn't work, and that's not really the point. The point is you're just focused on the little things and the few snaps that you do get, you're trying to make the most of. And coaches will notice that, and that'll learn the trust that you're following instruction in detail, even when the game's over and no one cares, and most people are tweeting or not watching the game, or everyone's just ready to celebrate and go home. So for Ola, he's a really interesting story. Undrafted kid out of Toledo, had a couple of really good training camps his rookie year. Was really impressive. He was arguably the top camp darling at Latrobe. Then he gets hurt. Same story the next year. Has a decent camp. I think he had a meniscus injury. Just had some nagging stuff that unfortunately has kind of shelved him, and maybe his career hasn't gone exactly the way he thought it would. But I just like and admire and appreciate the special teams impact that he's making, doing the little things, being a selfless guy, being a good teammate, and maybe by next year, you can even be in the number three role if Dupree's gone and Alex Highsmith becomes the starting right outside linebacker. So I'm a nerd about this stuff. I know, I get that. You can yell at me in the comments and say this is kind of silly in the grand scope of things, but I like the little detailed things. I think that's what separates a lot of players, the good from the great, the average from the good, the guys that will make it to the guys that can make it and hang around in football for a little bit, the way that Adani is doing. So just want to give that shout out for him, and I think just overall the effort that he's showing is pretty impressive and commendable. So let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.